Hello, this is Kelly Acheson coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin, and today I have a super fun and easy shaker card for you. Isn't that fun with all that confetti in there? This is like the holy cow of birthday cards. And not only is it spectacular on the outside, but the inside has a big pop too. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make this. The first thing I want to show you is the birthday pop-up Thinlits. You have the Hooray and the Happy Birthday. These are both really fun and easy to make. So first of all, I'm going to start with the front of our card where we use the Happy Birthday. And I've just got a scrap piece of Whisper white cardstock here. And I am going to die cut the Happy Birthday. Okay, we're using the Big Shot and we're just using the multi-purpose platform with both tabs closed. We've got one cutting plate down here, and then we're going to put our cardstock and our die down, and we're going to run this through back and forth 3 times. So run it through, back, and through again. Okay, and as long as we've got our Big Shot up here, I'm going to do the inside of our card right away. I've got a piece of 10 3/4 by 4-inch cardstock. This is just Whisper White. I've scored it down the middle at 5 3/8. And you see the little arrows on this die. Those go right on the score line. So I'm going to put those in, and I'm going to push mine towards the top of my card. And you're just going to line those up on the score lines. Make sure they don't move when you put your top plate on. And you're going to run that through 3 times also. Okay, so let's take these off. You're going to very gently come in from each side. And there we go. Isn't that something? It cuts so nice. You do want to make sure that you run it through 3 times. And there's very few little pieces in here that you need to poke out. It works really, really good. And then we're going to set that aside for right now. We're going to bring in our Happy Birthday. And that die comes right off of there also. And then you just need to pop out the little pieces that are still in here, and they fall out really easily, so that's nice too. There's no picking at them or making a big production of this. Okay, so we have our Happy Birthday here, and this die can also be used as a pop-up, but for our card we are going to cut this out. If you wanted it to be a pop-up, you needed to put a score line on there. And again, this Happy Birthday has the arrows here and a little arrow in here that you would line up with your score line. And I'm just going to cut this off. Where these little strips of paper are, right next to the Y, right next to this Y, and the same thing on the other side. There we go. So there's our Happy Birthday. Just going to get a scrap piece of paper out here for my sponging. I'm using crushed curry, mint macaron, or macaroon, however you'd like to say it, and melon Mambo. And you're going to take your sponge, and I'm kind of pinching my sponge up pretty good here to make it a little smaller. And I'm just going to add some color to my candles. And then I'm going to use my crushed curry. And then my mint. And you want to be gentle with this because this is kind of delicate. Isn't that pretty? Now, for the front of our card, I've got a scrap piece of white cardstock here, and this is our designer paper. This is from the It's My Party Designer Series paper stack, and I'm using the white polka dot side. And what I want to do here is just stamp some color onto it. We've got white with black polka dots, and I would like to add a little color to it. I'm just going to stamp some of the confetti from the Party with Cake stamp set. This just adds in that pop of color. That was crushed curry yellow, and now this is the mint. And now we're ready to layer this onto our scrap. And the reason why I've got a scrap here is just to make this a little more sturdy. Our designer paper is very good quality, and it is thicker than the stuff you can buy at the big box stores. But I just want to make sure that it's going to hang in there. So I'm just using that scrap for that. Okay, now for the really fun part. This is one of our clear envelopes. And I've got some of our embellishments. These are our sequin embellishments. You can get these in all our color families. And I'm just going to take a pinch and put it right in the clear envelope. You don't need a lot. Make sure you close that up so you don't spill it. And then I'm going to take this seal off the back and I'm going to layer it onto my card front. I like mine to be just a little bit above the bottom of my card. And I'm going to center it, fold it over, and seal it right to the back. Now I'm going to use my bone folder to give it a nice crisp fold right there. And there we go. There's our shaker part of our card. Isn't that easy and fun? You don't want this flopping around. So the way that I made it stay in place is I'm going to take an 1/8 inch circle punch, hole punch I should say, and I'm going to punch a couple holes in here, about 1/4 inch apart. And I'm going to use our new mint and black Baker's Twine, that's also in the Occasions Mini. I'm going to feed that through here. This is going to help keep our envelope in place. And then you're just going to tie this in a bow. I did a really pretty Christmas card with this idea. And after you watch the video, if you hop onto my blog, stampabove.com, on the date that this video is posted, I'll make sure I put a link in there so you can see that too. Okay, so we've got the basis for our shaker card here. And then the other thing we want to do is I wanted to put a little pop of color behind my happy birthday cake. So I took some more of the designer paper. This is from the same pack. And I'm just going to glue that underneath my clear envelope here. And that's going to be kind of the center point for our cake. And that really does help it pop. I asked my daughter Haley, I'm like, what do you think of this card? And she's like, well, your cake is getting drowned out with everything going on. So I added this black, and that's exactly what I needed. Now the way that I added my cake to the front of my envelope is with mini glue dots. And you don't need a whole bunch of them. Your cake isn't going anyplace. And up here where you're going to put your glue dots in, it's kind of, everything is very thin. I don't want my glue dots sticking out. So I'm just going to curl it up a little bit. So I take my finger and I make it into a little sliver of glue dot and stick that right on there. Can you see that? That works really good for me. And I'm just going to put a couple on like that. Okay, there we go. We're ready for our cake on the front. There's the front of our card. Isn't that pretty? Very festive for a birthday. And I've also got my piece of mint here that is 4 1/4 by 11, and then I scored it at 5 1/2. So I'm just going to fold that in half here and put my card front on there. And I like to use liquid glue. You can use whatever you want. This works best for me. And then you've got your shaker going on. All those little pieces wiggle around in there. Now we're going to get to the inside of our card. Pull up your sides. These are scored for you. So you're just going to pull them up and fold them on the score line. Just like that. And do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. And then there's also a score line right here in the middle for you. And you just keep working with it. It's scored for you on the where we scored the card before we die cut it. And there's our inside. Isn't that fun? Okay, so I wanted to add some bling to the inside too. I had a little trouble getting my greeting on the first card that I made, so I thought I need to get out my Stamp-a-ma-jig so that I make sure that I get it straight. So I'm going to show you how I use that. Your Stamp-a-ma-jig comes with imaging sheets and also a handle. And you're going to ink up the stamp. And you're going to bring your handle in and put it up to the edge of your imaging sheet. And then you're going to bring your stamp in. And you have to make sure that you hold your stamp the same way each time you use this. And I'm going to stamp this right on there. Now you're going to bring your card back in. And you're going to put this up here so it's perfectly positioned where you would like it. Bring your handle back in. You notice I have my stamp mounted kitty corner instead of straight up and down or back and forth. So that doesn't matter because you're just going to ink up your stamp, move your imaging sheet, and you're going to bring this in here and you're going to stamp it, and it's going to be perfect every time. I love the Stamp-a-ma-jig. It is so helpful in situations like this. So let's continue stamping our bling in here. And we're going to come back with our crushed curry. Card folds together nicely. And now for positioning it inside, you want to make sure that you're getting your adhesive around the opening. So I'm just going to put glue all over in here. And I do put glue on both my sides right away. And now I'm going to come in. I like to take my card and kind of close it a little bit so that I make sure I'm getting it into the corner where it folds. Then I kind of drop it, let it go. I'm looking at this side first. This looks all even. And then I'm going to open it up like this and make sure that this is all straight and even. And then I close it and let it stick a little bit. And there's our fabulous shaker card. And it's all nice and jiggly. Who doesn't love a card that has moving parts? And you've got a party on the inside. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make some really fun, festive birthday cards with the Party Pop-Up Thinlits. They're super easy to use and a lot of fun. Let me show you a few other things that I've made with this. Here's another card. Excuse the ink, I dropped it in an ink pad. But here's the inside of this one. And then I've got another one here with the same designer series paper pack. And we've got a party going on in here. Here's one that my friend Barb made and sent to me. And then I've got one more that I'm going to do a video for next week with another technique, and I'm sure you're going to love it. So if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would be happy to earn your business. Pop me an email at kelly@astampabove.com. Jump on my blog and see some of the other fun projects I've been making with the new products out of the Occasions mini catalog. I've also got a really fun project as an ordering incentive for the month of January. It's a tear-off easel calendar and a matching easel card. So you will get one of those when you place your order with me during the month of January. It's my thank you to you for your business. So add a little sparkle to somebody's day. Thanks for stamping with me.